And hello, everybody. Chad Lefevre here with the most important conversations. If you've been following us for a while, you know that the reason we're called that is we have the most important conversations that human beings need to be having right now. As an organization, we do that for large companies, Fortune 100 companies, governments, organizations, NGOs. And on a personal level, we actually work with leaders to develop them to be powerful creators of their life. And today is an important talk that I want to give because it's actually me kind of dropping the veil. You know, for years I've struggled to figure out how do I want to create, how do I want to communicate and create my method or mode of communication vis-a-vis social media. Early days, I was an early adopter in social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I was one of the few at that time who was able to get my name as my handle. And I was very active on social media in the early days as an early adopter. And around 2012, I actually shut all my accounts down because I was seeing what was happening in terms of how people were bending their persona to fit some sort of idyllic or perfect state that they had for who they wanted to be and what they wanted to show people on social media. And I was really kind of repulsed by that. I thought, well, this isn't going to be good. And since then, we've seen, films like The Social Dilemma. I was very early on aware of the addictive nature of social media, where every like and every follow was just an oxytocin or a dopamine hit. And so for years, I really kind of stayed off of it. I didn't really do much with it. I restarted my social media accounts in and around 2015 because I wanted to use it merely as an opportunity to reach out to all of you and to be able to start communicating some of the profound work that I was doing behind the scenes with tech companies and large organizations, developing leaders, helping them develop their creativity, coming up with solutions to some of their biggest challenges and problems. And but I really struggled for a number of years, in terms of what did I want my social media persona to be. And so I've kind of just dropped all that. I'm going to treat this as a direct channel to those of you who are interested in the content that TMIC is putting out there. No holds barred. You're just going to get me as I am. If you were sitting in my living room and we were just talking, that's what you're going to get. I'm kind of over trying to figure out how to do this in a way that is the right way. I don't know what the right way is, so I'm not interested in it. So today what I want to talk about, and it's a bit of a preamble because I want to talk about creativity today. One of the things that we focus on in TMIC is the premise that all of us, me, all of you, every human being is a creator. We were born creators. As young children, we would play, we would imagine, we would fantasize, we would come up with new worlds, we would be characters in those worlds. So creativity, play, which is creativity in motion, these are natural, instinctive things for human beings. Why does this matter right now? We're living at a moment in time right now where most of us have had the creativity that was innate to us conditioned out of us. And right now, though, however, with all of the profound transformations that are going on in the world in terms of AI, changes in economic models, changes in government models, political models, the effects of climate change, migration. I mean, we're living in a time right now where we are literally about to and are already in the midst of experiencing the most profound transformative change as a society, as a culture, that we haven't experienced probably for sure since the Industrial Revolution, and maybe even at the level we're experiencing it since the Renaissance. So that's dramatic. I mean, everything that any of you, myself included, who've grown up believing is normal life is about to change on so many fronts. Some things might look the same to a degree, but there are changes rippling through everything. So creativity is going to be more important than ever. Because the thing is, creativity is the thing that we not only innately have and are born with, but it's the thing we're going to need to create the new world. And all of us are collaborative co-creators in that. No matter how small or big your influence is, You need to know you have to tap back in to that creativity. You have to be able to access that. Consuming what other people are doing, consuming their ideas, consuming their energy, consuming up space in ways that are reflective of the society we had will only create more of the same. So if you're going to actually be a true creator and you want to be in your own life, or whether it's in the life of your family or your community, or maybe you're much more influential than that and you can influence and move the direction of organizations or government departments or whatever the case is, creativity is going to be the skill of the next 100 years. Someone asked me recently, we were having conversations about artificial intelligence and the impact that AI is going to have on this, on all of us. And I said to them, well, all of the research that I've been doing in terms of AI, its impact on business, its impact on entrepreneurship, its impact on government and how it runs, its impact on all of the systems and structures that we have gotten used to as normal life. What do I mean by systems and structures? Our healthcare system, our education system, the way we structure ourselves politically, the way our food systems, all of our jobs. You know, Dell put a report out a couple of years ago that said 85% of the jobs that we will be doing in 2030 haven't even been invented yet. 85% of the jobs haven't been invented yet. What does that mean? 85% of the jobs we're currently doing, we either won't be doing at all by 2030, or they will be dramatically different and we'll have to learn how to do them differently. So having this conversation with this individual, they were asking me about where do I think AI, the impact of AI, what's the impact going to be on us? And I said, well, here's the thing. AI is profoundly great at innovating, and that's not creativity. It's very different. Innovation is very different than creativity. Innovation is when we take something that's already existed and we innovate on it, we improve it. So think of it like there was the prop airplane and then there was the jet airplane. That would be an innovation. AI is fantastic at innovation because AI takes all of the data that humans have accessible to them on all of the search engines around the world, and it consolidates and it learns and it looks for patterns of things that already exist, and it can innovate based on those patterns, but it needs that prior input. And I said, but here's the thing, AI yet cannot create. What is creation? Creation is when we come from no thing and now there's something. So coming back to the airplane example, creation is no airplane, airplane, versus innovation, prop airplane, jet airplane. Two different skill sets, kind of related. Creativity is involved in innovation, but creativity in its purest sense is when we are creating something out of nothing. And so with the changes that are going to be happening as a result of AI, and all of us with our jobs, with our careers, with our businesses, if we're entrepreneurs, maybe we're artists, AI is going to have such a profound impact that the innovation is going to be handled. The innovation is going to be taken care of. The skill set that we're going to need to train ourselves in as human beings is creativity. Now, there's a problem with this. For the last 120 or so years, our society has done a really, really good job of conditioning the creativity out of us. Because think about it, if you work for a government organization, you work for a business, you work for a nonprofit, you work for a company that has its own culture, its own requirements, its own expectations. What they don't want, in most cases, unless it's a creative business, and even then there's going to be parameters around that, but what they don't want is anyone getting any funny ideas. Don't get too creative. Don't get outside the box that we have created. We've created a box. We want you to stay in it. Creators usually don't like boxes. They usually like to push on the edges and the boundaries of the boxes, and they're curious. What's on the other side? So creativity as a way of being, as a way of thinking, as a way of operating has been kind of beaten out of us culturally speaking. And it has been passed down from generation to generation, and it's just become a way of living, to live life non-creatively. Even if you think about when you were really young, our parents, and some of you as parents now might do the same thing, but if you remember yourself, look at your mom or your dad would say, you can play after your homework, or they would remove play, which is creativity and action, out of the equation as a punishment, right? So even from the youngest age of ages, we were taught that creativity wasn't the source or the essence of who we are and why we do what we do. We were taught that creativity and play and imagination and fantasy are these things that happen if you accomplish X, Y, Z, or if you are a good boy or girl or whatever. So from the very young age, we were taught, go to school, get in line. We have lines of desks. We have rows of desks. You're supposed to sit in it. You stand in lines coming in for recess. There was all this structure, right? And structure is not a bad thing. Structure is essential. It's necessary for us to be productive. But sometimes structure can become too rigid, too beholden, and it chokes the life out of life, right? It chokes the creativity off totally. And so we culturally and in our society have largely been deconditioned out of how to think creatively. And critical thinking is very closely associated with creative thinking. Critical thinking is bringing discernment and these other things, which I won't get into right now. So I want to wrap up this video as a starting point for some successive videos that are to come, which is but to end saying this. Creativity is going to be your superpower if you are going to successfully manage the transition from the old way of working, living, and being in our society to the new. And it's not just AI, it's all of the other changes that are going on. Globalization is being challenged right now. Our education system needs to be reinvented. Our healthcare system is really disease management. It's actually not healthcare at all. If you end up in the healthcare system, it's because you have a problem. It's not because you're healthy, right? So it's not healthcare. This is propaganda. Our food systems, the way we structure ourselves politically, all of these systems and structures are at best being stress tested right now, or at worst, they're starting to break down. And so with that being the case, we need to become creators again. In order to withstand the change and transformation that is about to happen, we need to become creators. We need to learn how to create. That's what we're teaching people at the Most Important Conversations with our two primary programs, Whole Life Architecture, which is where we teach you how to be the creator of your own life and to literally re-architect your entire life. And that sounds like, oh, how do I do that? There's a way to do it. And we do it in community together, as opposed to not just a course you take, you're on your own, good luck. We do it together. We do it with you. And it's a way for you to go back to the beginnings of the essence of who you were before the conditioning and then to create from that place. So we teach you how to create in your own life. And then there are other programs. Design Lab is a creative design laboratory, an online laboratory for business owners and executives who want to bring some of the biggest challenges and problems in their company. And once a month we meet and we are teaching how to create your own solutions. We're not consultants. We don't consult. You have all the solutions in your head for your life. You have all the solutions that you need in your head or in the heads of the people in your company. It's just about accessing them. See, because we have conditioned creativity out of us as a people, we don't know how to access through creativity the solutions to the things that we want solutions to in our life. So we show you how to do that. So we're going to talk a lot more about creativity as we go along here. I just wanted to plant a flag in the ground. You're going to be hearing a lot more from me about all the stuff that we're doing at TMIC, as well as about a lot of topics about analog living, slowing down, how to access our power and stop operating from being a victim in life. And what does that even mean? How to deal with trauma. What is trauma? How are we managing trauma? I mean, we're hearing a lot of conversations about trauma. There's some great people out there like Gabor Mate and others kind of ringing the alarm bell that we live in a traumatized society. So we handle a lot of those different topics, but always in the interest of how are we becoming more powerful creators. When you take on being a creator in your life, you can't be a victim. It's impossible because you realize that you are the creator of everything that's happening in your life. You've made choices, you've made decisions, and all of those things have led to what you have. So to become a powerful creator is to go back into the essence of who you are, learn the tools and skills of how to think creatively and how to do creatively and how to restructure and re-architect yourself so you can live from a place of authenticity, integrity, and power. Okay, so we're going to get into all that stuff. In the meantime, wanted to invite you to go check out tmicglobal.com, the most important conversations, and we'll see you on another post, I guess another social media post, since I'm going to be doing this often now. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.